Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go racing here in the Xfinity Series at Mid-Ohio for the first road course race of the season, as well as we have Kansas in the Cup Series side of things. But before we even think about getting into the racing part, we have something big here coming over from the last episode, as Joey Logano, he got suspended in the last episode. So here is the news today. Team Penske announces this week that Austin Cindric will replace Joey Logano, who was suspended last week in Charlotte with the contact with myself. Logano will return next week at Michigan, but Hailie Deegan will make her Cup Series debut in the 21 car for Wood Brothers Racing in place of Austin Cindric. And quote there, "We are excited to give Deegan her Cup debut in Kansas and can't wait to see what she can do at the Cup level," said Wood Brothers Racing. So that brings us through now into the race weekend here for the Xfinity Series, as well as the Cup Series, where we start things off at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course with a Formula 1 driver who I brought over, or sorry, Formula 2 driver I brought over actually into our car for this race, and that was Jack Aitken here now, as he's actually driven one Formula 1 race in the Williams car when George Russell replaced Lewis Hamilton, who missed the Bahrain Grand Prix. So Jack Aitken would get underway here and with a pretty decent qualifying effort. It wasn't inside the top 10, but he, as you guys know, of course, being a Formula 2 driver, very good at road course racing, he would be on it right off the bat now as he was starting to make moves down this straightaway, going down towards turns 2, up the inside of the 18, 3 wide into the second corner, and he was already up inside the top 10 within just a couple corners of this race being underway. So he comes through out of turn 2 on the back of the 7 of Justin Allgaier. He's going to get up the right side of him, and then there you see up in front the 10 and the 9 side by side now as he's going to go to the right hand side of those two drivers of Austin Hill, as well as the 9 of the rookie of Sam Mayer as he dives down now into turn 3. So he was well up inside the top 10, moving his way forward as the best he could with the time that he had now, as it was Derek Kraus and Daniel Hemrick battling it out for the lead position here in Mid-Ohio. Now as he came through a little bit later, you saw a bit of a mishap there for the 22 of Kevin Magnussen, and that would allow Aitken to get past him and move up another position as he went down into turn 1, closing in the back of Michael Annett, as well as Hailie Deegan, who's about to make her very first Cup Series start, coming up here in just a few minutes now, as he would go 3 wide though, up the inside of the 98, as well as up the inside of the 1 of Annett. Now as he goes down into turn 2, he was now up inside the top 5 here in P4 as he was trying to run down the Canadian of Alex Labbe in the final few laps of this race. So we come through right to the final lap. Now Hailie Deegan putting a lot of pressure on Aitken, but he would be very defensive over her, and then we came through now towards the final sector on the final lap here in Mid-Ohio as Jack was closing in on the back of Labbe here in the final few corners now, as he's going to have to go for a big lunge, and sure enough he goes up the right hand side, gets side by side now with Labbe through the penultimate corner. Now as they're going to be side by side into the final corner, and it's actually going to be Aitken who gets the momentum out of the corner, comes through to get a podium here for our team with a P3 finish in the Xfinity Series. So Jack Aitken's NASCAR debut very strong now, as we had Lando Norris in one of our events last season, as you guys remember, in the Xfinity Series. I believe it was Watkins Glen, and he actually came out with the victory, so it was very strong for him as well. Now as these F1 to NASCAR crossovers working out pretty well, and as you guys remember from the last episode, we competed in the Monaco Grand Prix to complete the double of Monaco, as well as the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. But we come through now into the Cup Series weekend here with myself in the number 24 car with the NZXT colors on the car for this Kansas race weekend. So we would get underway for our qualifying lap. The goal was a 30.926. I didn't quite know how to go about this one. We actually have momentum in this race weekend just like we did in Charlotte, so that's definitely going to help us in the long run. But we come through out of turn 2, actually get into the outside wall on the exit of turn 2. So that destroyed our lap, so we just came through to cross the line with a 31.371, and that would put us P19 for the Digital Ally 400 here at Kansas Speedway. So not the greatest qualifying effort, but we definitely have a stronger car, I feel like, than that, as we obviously knocked the wall down and still got P19 out of it. Now as you see, Quinn Helf, Joey Gase, Timmy Hill all at the bottom there. Now as we're going to see who is on pole here for tonight in Kansas. Chase Elliott, coming off of his first win of the season, is actually going to be the one who backs it up after that Charlotte victory. He qualifies pole here in Charlotte with Cindric 4th and Hailie Deegan up in 7th in that 21 car for her very first Cup Series race. Alright boys, we've been really on fire lately with that couple wins now, and then that good effort in Charlotte. So close to getting that victory, but it was nice to see Chase at least get it, so hopefully we can come out of here with a win tonight. There, heard myself over the radio now as we're ready to go green for the Digital Ally 400 here at Kansas Speedway now, as you see no drivers actually sent to the back here for this upcoming race now, as it's big though. Overall we have Austin Cindric making his, I guess you could say, debut in a top-tier ride of the number 22 Penske Racing Mustang in replace of Joey Logano, who just got suspended for one race. Then we got Hailie Deegan making her Cup Series debut in general in the 21 car. Very solid car to make a debut in. Now, as we are underway, though, for the Digital Ally 400 here at Kansas Speedway from the 19th starting position on the row behind us, it's filled up with the two McLaren drivers of Zane Smith as well as Eric Jones in the number 7 and the number 02 car as we go down into turn 1 on this opening lap here in the Digital Ally 400 as Chase Elliott tries to lead the way to the end of this first lap, hoping that he can at least lead one lap today as we come through out of turn 2. Elliott decided quite the rough season so far, but he really just picked it up last episode in Charlotte, managed to pick up the victory in overtime, but now already he's giving up the lead, so he is not going to lead this first lap as the 95 of Harrison Burton, as you guys know, will be replacing Martin Truex Jr. in the career mode next season due to Truex retiring. So Burton, though, leads the first lap in that number 95 car. Now, news on that team as well in general could be coming up very soon here as well in the career mode as we go down into turns 1 up the inside of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. out of turn 2. So moving from 19th to 13th in the first lap and a half of this race as we close in on the back of Eric Almirola in that 43 car, who's been having a relatively strong season so far in that number 43. Kyle Larson, of course, drove that car last season in the career mode, and then Almirola reunited after losing his 10 car to Matt DiBenedetto in Stewart-Haas Racing, who has DiBenedetto picked up a victory already in that 10 car this season at Bristol Motor Speedway. Matt DiBenedetto, the only driver so far that has actually picked up a victory for Stewart-Haas Racing. Harvick was very close last episode with Chase Elliott, but unfortunately, honestly, I think if I didn't take Harvick 3 wide in overtime, he probably would have won that race now as we coming through to the 4th lap now with 16 laps remaining in stage 1. Now trying to move ourselves into the top 10, but I was kind of struggling. I was on the back of Noah Gragson, but I lunge up the inside into turn 3. Usually the bottom just doesn't work for myself here at Kansas, but we actually make it work pretty good here against the number 1 car of Gragson as we exit turn 4. Very curious to see when Gregson's going to be able to pick up that first victory, but he's been kind of struggling in that 1 car this season now as Chip Ganassi Racing as a whole has kind of been struggling. But we end up passing the 95 of Harrison Burton, moving ourselves into the top 10. Then we get to the outside of the 9 of Chase Elliott as our teammate Kyle Larson as well had moved up into the top 10. So he moves past us into 8th as I was trying to fight with him, but he had a very fast car, and that was pretty evident early on as he's just going to blow right on by the 42 of Chastain as I close in right on the back of the 42 as I look to that right hand side of him trying to make the pass on Chastain and move up into that 8th position, but unfortunately I could not make the pass happen here as we come through down the back straightaway now on lap 7. I get right up on the back of that number 42 as Denny Hamlin currently finds himself leading over 2nd place of Kevin Harvick. Then we come through though to lap 8 and now Chase Briscoe in that SHR number 14 car gets up our inside with 11 laps remaining in this first stage. Kevin Harvick had now taken the lead from Denny Hamlin. Hailie Deegan and Austin Cindric both up inside the top 5 in the number 21 and the number 22 car. So now Hailie Deegan having a tremendous debut of her Cup Series race now as we go down into turns 3. You see Briscoe, he had driven away, and now as we came through to lap 12, Ryan Blaney had now taken the lead at this point as we came through out of turn 4. Then the caution comes out for the first time here today in the Digital Ally 400 at Kansas Speedway. So everybody will be coming to the pit lane here. I decided, of course, 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires. I put the grill tape up to 40%, and then I was thinking about messing with the tire pressures, but I wanted to just see if we could get away with it now for the rest of this first stage and then make some adjustments later. But you're going to see Austin Dillon is actually 3 laps down. He did not bring out the caution, but he has DNF'd, and it was actually an engine failure, I believe it was, as we would gain 1 spot on the pit lane. So now in that 9th position, and unfortunately, whenever we want to be on the outside for a restart, that's usually when they put us on the bottom now as we are underway with just a handful of laps to go now in this first stage. Ryan Blaney looking for the stage victory. Kyle Larson, he's trying to get up in the mix, but he actually had a poor pit stop, so now he finds himself behind us now. Very unfortunate for Kyle Larson because it seemed like he has a pretty fast car here tonight in Kansas now as we come through at a turn 2. In a few rows in front of us, you see Austin Cindric in the 22, Hailie Deegan in the 21, both of them having very good runs in cars they've never driven yet here in the Cup Series as we go down into turn 3 behind the 3-time Cup Series champion Kyle Busch. As you guys remember, he won the championship last season in the career mode as we come through out of turn 4, 3 wide in the middle between Keselowski and Kyle. 4 championships between the two of them as we go down towards turn 1, trying to clear the 18 of Kyle Busch. And now as we come through the center of the corner, we will slide up in front of that number 18 Toyota Camry as we exit turn 2 nearly into the outside. Well, fortunately, we would keep it out of the wall now as we came through, though, to 2 laps ago in the stage. Now Alex Bowman in the 48, he had run me down, and he was going to drive right past me there as I was being very careful to not hit the wall there on the exit of turn 2, but we came through to the final lap of the stage as we go down into turn 1, lunging up the inside of the 22 of Austin Cindric. Actually, a little bit of contact with Cindric as we come through out of turn 2, and he gets sideways, but he saves it now as we go down the back straightaway. I turned rivals off in this race just to kind of have the effect of the Logano suspension, but it didn't actually seem to change anything there because it looked like the 22 tried to take us out, so I was a little bit confused about that, but either way we got by him with no problem at all, and we come through out of turn 4 down the front straightaway. Ryan Blaney wins stage 1. We cross the line and now get P8, and Ryan Blaney, that's very important for a driver like him now, as Cindric is just right on the door of potentially getting an actual Penske ride next season in the career mode. So right now Logano definitely in safe position, but Keselowski and Blaney, I feel like, are fighting to keep their rides at Penske Racing for this upcoming season in the career mode now, as Cindric would love to get in either that 2 or the 12 car, but not sure if he's going to get that ride or not yet. We're going to have to see how Blaney and Keselowski do throughout the rest of the season now. As you see, Harvick lost 2 spots on the pit lane, Keselowski gained 2 spots now as Hailie Deegan lines up P3 right behind Denny Hamlin, who took the lead on the pit stop now as the green flag is out. And for the start of stage 2, we're going to go through into the AMP segment. There you saw the AMP segment now on the restart. We are now P6 as we go down into turn 1. You see, though, out front, Hailie Deegan leading the way in her Cup Series debut. Did not expect to see this now as we come through out of turn 2, but she's having a great run so far now as we go down the back straightaway. You never expect a Cup rookie to come in, and especially like a track like a mile and a half, and just lead the way now as we go down into turn 3. Definitely the best performance we've seen in the career mode so far from a rookie driver. So clearly proving that she is ready for a Cup Series ride now, but definitely I don't know if you're going to see her in the Cup Series in the career mode next season, but potentially the season after now, but definitely making a good case for herself as we come through the center of turns 1 and out of turn 2. Now going down this back straightaway, right side we are of Denny Hamlin there, and that number FedEx 11 Toyota Camry now as we would go 3 wide down the front straightaway with Bowman as well as Hamlin, and I just couldn't quite make it work now as the car just kind of seemed to start fading as the laps went on here as we go down into turn 1. But now Austin Cindric would take the lead from Deegan now, so he moves up into P1 as I'm right behind that 48 nearly into the outside wall. Now it's Kyle Larson, though. He had run us back down, and he was once again moving his way through the field very quickly now as we drop down to P9 right behind that number 48 cars will go down this back straightaway. Matt DiBenedetto, he would actually end up trying to run me down, but he was not going to get there because the caution would come out here in stage 2, and everybody was actually going to stay out for this pit stop or restart now, so no pit stops happening here as we look through the running order. Currently Elliott has fallen down quite a ways through the field, but Eric Jones in the McLaren is coming into the pit lane, but he would not DNF, so I'm assuming he brought out the caution maybe with a tire failure, but it was not a DNF like I said. So we would get ready to take the green flag once again, now about halfway through the second stage from the 9th position as it's Austin Cindric leading the field back to the green flag with 9 laps to go. In stage 2, Kyle Larson has gotten himself back in the mix, and it really seems like Hendrick Motorsports now is starting to pick up as a whole, because I myself picked up 2 wins, and then Chase Elliott picked up the Coca-Cola 600 victory. Bowman's running good tonight, and so is the number 5 of Kyle Larson, and right now, Elliott, of course, with that win, locked in the playoffs. We're locked in the playoffs, so 2 wins as well, but Bowman currently on the outside looking in by like 30 points or something like that as we slide up out of turn 4 nearly into the outside, or into the inside door, I guess I should say, of the 5 of Kyle Larson. But Larson, he is currently well inside in terms of points on the playoffs, so I don't think he's going to have to worry about missing anything unless we have, of course, 16 different winners and Larson doesn't pick up that victory now as we come through the center of 1 and 2. But now the 48 to my inside is Custer. He drove by, so did the 14 of Chase Briscoe. Here's to go down this back straightaway. So now we're falling down the order, like I mentioned earlier, that the cars seem to be kind of falling off, but Ryan Blaney, he would have once again taken the lead here now, and then we came through now to a lap later on lap 11 in stage 2, and now we got the 10 of Matt DiBenedetto coming through to make the pass on myself as well. So we dropped down into P12, and the car was just falling off so much here in this second stage. So I was a little bit confused because in stage 1 we ran pretty good, but it seems like the older the tires get, the more of a disadvantage we have here tonight in Kansas, and I would just continue to fall away from these cars in front of us now, as you see DiBenedetto, Briscoe all driving away from us. And then in our rear view mirror, the cars kept getting larger and larger as Kyle Busch, he would get to my inside with 4 laps to go in the stage. Right now it was Ryan Blaney trying to hold on to that stage victory. Now as Kyle Busch, he passes myself down the backstretch, so we continue to fade, and then the 99 of Daniel Suarez gets to my inside as Kyle Larson, he had now moved himself into second place, coming to 2 laps to go in stage 2. So now Suarez, who won earlier this season as well, he's in the playoffs right now, he's coming through to pass us for that 13th position now, as Ross Chastain is of course hungry as well to get to the back of myself and make the pass. So we come through now, approaching the final lap in stage 1. I'm starting to slip and slide a little bit now. Bubba Wallace, he had actually gotten up my inside after passing Chastain as we come through to start the final lap in stage 2. Kyle Larson to the inside actually of the 12 of Ryan Blaney for the lead here on the final lap in stage 2 as we come through the center of 1 and out of turn 2. Bubba Wallace is going to get clear down the back straightaway and take over the position. I try to look to the inside, but give him a little bit of a push actually down into turn 3 here as we go up the inside here through the center of the corner. The inside never works, and that's exactly what happened here. It did not work whatsoever. So we come through out of turn 4 and unfortunately couldn't do anything against Bubba there. Now as the 42 gets to the back of myself, but we're going to come through for a pretty disappointing 15th place here in the second stage as Kyle Larson actually picked up the stage victory in that number 5 car. So a playoff point for Larson now, as Blaney would get second, Cindric third, Hailie Deegan up there in 7th place. So both of those drivers still having a very good race so far here in Kansas. So far, I mean, the car was running good earlier in the short run, but the long run is so far off. So yeah, we definitely need to make some adjustments here to tune it for the long run, because I think it's going to go long here. Alright, there you heard myself on the radio with some feedback to the team, and you saw the adjustments there on the pit stop now as we get ready to go green. And fortunately, this time we actually gained a spot to put us on the outside from P14 here for the start of stage 3 now, as it looks like Ryan Blaney took the lead on the pit stop over Kyle Larson. The green flag is back out in the third and final stage is underway here in the Digital Ally 400 at Kansas Speedway. 25 laps remain now, as it definitely appears that Blaney, Larson both have the fastest cars here today now, and I think it really comes down to who can have the bottom lane at the right time now as we come through the center of 1 and out of turn 2. I had a bit of a check up there in front of myself as I had to get on the brakes just a little bit to make sure I didn't run into the back of the 18 of Kyle Busch. Here as we go down into turn 3. Suarez there up the inside of the 18, the 20 of Christopher Bell just behind us now as we come through out of turn 4, right on the back bumper now of Kyle Busch as we go down this front straightaway, coming through to complete this first and opening lap of the third and final stages. Blaney now looks like he's under pressure from the 22 of Austin Cindric now as we go down into turn 1. Cindric moves through into P2. Larson being stuck on that outside, moving his way backwards now as we come through out of the corner to the outside of Kyle. But they're 3 wide down the back straightaway with Bubba and Kyle here as we go down into turn 3. Both of them are affiliate teammates with each other now, as Cindric sure enough gets up the inside of Ryan Blaney on the exit of turn 4 as he tries to take over the lead here on the third and final stage, now in position to potentially get his first career Cup Series victory now in what is also his rookie season now as we come through out of turn 4, going down this front straightaway. Now we would get to the outside of the 14 of Briscoe, pass him, then get to the outside of Daniel Suarez now, as Cindric, he had taken the lead from Ryan Blaney, and he was clear of Ryan Blaney for the lead now as I was continuing to try and make this outside work, but once again the car seemed to just kind of start to fade off as the laps went by. Even after the adjustments I made, nothing really seemed to be working. So Blaney, he was falling down the order a little bit. Keselowski, Deegan, both up there battling in the top 5, as well as we come through out of turn 2 now into P13 as Briscoe and Suarez battle it out side by side, but Briscoe, he would clear Suarez, drive away from him now as I get up the inside of Daniel now as I had quite the run on the exit of turn 4 as we come through Down the front straightaway towards turns 1, we will clear the 99 into the corner now as Ryan Blaney, he actually retook the lead again from Austin Cindric, so Blaney just kind of stating just how much speed he's got in that 12 car here today as we go down this backstretch. Blaney looking for that first win of the season now, as I think, if I remember correctly, he went winless as well last season in our career mode. But Cindric, he would get back up the inside again of Ryan Blaney now as we came to 19 laps to go, and he was going for the lead once again as we go down into turn 1 now as we have a crash just in front of us. The 48 of Alex Bowman goes crashing, and Suarez involved as well. A big hit for the 99 of Daniel Suarez in that track house car, so the caution comes out, and it was a bit of a close call for myself here, as everybody, though, we would come to the pit lane. I decided to do 4 tires. I anticipated 2 tires from the AI, but we clearly don't have the car to compete up front, so I decided to give up some track position and do 4 tires. But here is the view of that crash of Alex Bowman from my POV now, as you're going to see that. As I went down into turn 1, we see the 48 go spinning. I'm trying to get out of the throttle, and then Daniel Suarez just plowed into there, but I thought I was going to get taken out for a second, as I thought the 48 was about to hit off the wall into my path. Fortunately, that didn't happen now, as we dropped 12 positions, though, to P23 for the restart. Alex Bowman, though, this is a big hit for him, as this is as well a DNF for him after that crash. So he is out of the race, and that's going to be a big hit in points for our teammate of Alex Bowman, who's already on the outside looking in terms of the playoff grid. So he is definitely going to need some luck on his side, and that is, I think, the 3rd or 4th DNF this season for Alex Bowman due to a car failure with the tire blowing or an engine blowing. So very unfortunate. You think about those DNFs that could have been all top 10s likely now, as he would probably be inside the playoffs right now, but just a lot of bad luck for Alex Bowman this season so far, and hopefully they can kind of get that all just getting rid of and get some good luck on their side now as we're to the back of the one of Noah Gragson here, as I would get up to that outside as soon as I could with 15 laps to go, and I was very confident that we could just rip the top lane here and move our way past all of these cars here like Gragson, Chase Elliott now, who's having a bit of a rough night after that win for the first time this season in the Coca-Cola 600, but I don't think he cares too much now, knowing he's going to very likely be inside the playoffs now as we go down into turn 3, trying to get to the outside of Eric Almirola. We would pass him, then get to the outside of now the rookie of Todd Gilliland. There was not a lot of room at all between him and the wall, but we made it work anyways now as we come through to 14 to go. As we go down into turn 1, Christopher Bell running in that 15 spot. I would get to the inside of him on the exit of turn 4. I wasn't wasting any time. If I had to try and make the bottom work, we were going to do it the best we could now as we make a 3 wide with the 38 of John Hunter Nemechek as well as the 18 of Kyle Busch into turn 1 as we try to clear them and move our way towards the top 10, but the inside just does not work that great for myself, as you can see, even when I'm on fresher tires compared to these drivers here as we go down this back straightaway, as everybody else did take 2 tires and we took 4 as Ryan Blaney leads over Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin in 3rd place as we come through out of turn 4, sliding up the track once again. Kyle Busch to my right hand side, he has the momentum down the straightaway, but the caution comes out again here in Kansas now with 13 laps to go, now 12 laps to go, as it is now Blaney and then Larson and Hamlin all up front there as we're going to get ready to go green. As it appears Corey LaJoie brought out the caution, but of course no pit stop necessary for us as we just came in a few laps ago. So now in P13 here, setting up for a restart right behind the 14 of Chase Briscoe now as we are back underway, and now it will be 9 laps remaining here in the Digital Ally 400 at Kansas Speedway. Can we get ourselves at least in the top 10? I really hope so now as we have that tire advantage, but it really doesn't seem to have as much of an effect as I was hoping it would, as I got up to about 13th or so, and then we just kind of seemed to get even with drivers like Kyle Busch, but as well we were stuck on the bottom, so we'll see here once we can get to the top now. So I'm going to make it though 3 wide up the inside of Briscoe as we go down into the corner, trying to make the pass on him, but once again just being on the bottom cannot make it work now as we come through out of turn 4. Chastain on the very top, still 3 wide down the front straightaway with Briscoe and that 42 car here as we come through. 8 laps to go now as we pass the 14 as he kind of pulled out of that 3 wide, and now we lunge up the inside of the 23 of Bubba Wallace as we try to move into that now 10th position as we exit turn 2. Blaney and Hamlin, they were battling it out for the lead, but it would be Blaney who would come out on top of that battle. Then Kyle Larson, he got up the inside of Hamlin and try to get back into that 2nd position here as I was doing everything I could to hang with Bubba Wallace, but he was making it a tough challenge here as we go down into turn 3. But Kyle Larson, he would put the pressure to the back of the 12 of Ryan Blaney here in the final laps of this race. Larson looking for his first win since his NASCAR comeback, as you see me pushing the 23 of Bubba with 5 laps to go, trying to put Hendrick Motorsports in victory lane once again. And sure enough, with 3 laps to go, Kyle Larson had taken the lead away from Ryan Blaney into turns 1 and 2. Now just hoping it's going to stay green and we don't have a caution with 2 laps to go like we did in Charlotte in the last episode. Now as we come through out of turn 2, going down this back straightaway now, as we came through now to 2 laps to go, and unfortunately Briscoe, Kyle Busch were both running us down, but Kyle Larson still out in front, but the caution comes out with 2 laps to go here in Kansas, just like it did last episode and the Coca-Cola 600. And that overtime restart ended Kevin Harvick's chances of the victory and gave it to Chase Elliott. Hopefully Kyle Larson, though, can hold on to the victory here now as we would get ready to go green for overtime. 2 laps remain as we get ready to restart in P12. Briscoe just barely got in front of me at the time of that caution. Now as we get ready to go back green, now as we are underway, right behind us we got Kyle Busch as well as the number 20 car of Christopher Bell as we get back underway on lap 69. Nice, 2 laps to go as Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin are all about to duel it for the victory as we go down into the corner. Austin Cindric in the mix as well potentially, and a terrible restart on the outside line, though. We have quite the stack up now as on now the 21 of Hailie Deegan, though, still finds herself inside the top 10 in her Cup Series debut. She's been running top 10 all race long and looks to finish it off here with the top 10. Now is Larson. He went all the way to the top, handing the potential win away to Denny Hamlin as we exit turn 4, coming through to the final lap here in Kansas. 3 wide down the front straightaway now as Bubba pulls out of it, and we get clear of him as we get to P13 right behind Chastain as we go down into turn 1. Larson still out in front, but no, now Denny Hamlin gets through to the lead and clears Larson out of turn 2. Now as I'm sideways, Gilliland clears me. Bubba up the inside here as we go down the back straightaway on the final lap down towards turns 3 for the final time, as I'm going to lunge up the inside of the rookie of Todd Gilliland. Now as Cindric, he was actually trying to look up the inside of Denny Hamlin for the win as we came through out of turn 4 in that quarter panel there of the 6, but it's not enough, and Denny Hamlin wins in Kansas over second place of Austin Cindric as we come through to cross the line here in a disappointing 14th place finish. Not the finish we were looking for whatsoever, but we actually somehow extend our points lead over Martin Truex Jr., who had a 24th place finish in a subpar day overall. Now, as there you saw, though, Denny Hamlin, for the first time this season, picks up the win. Took him a lot longer than I expected. Cindric in second, Larson third, Hailie Deegan in her Cup Series debut with an 8th place finish. A very strong showing from her. Now, as you see, like I said, we extended our points series, or points lead here on the Cup Series now over Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch there in P3. Then we got DiBenedetto fourth. Hamlin has had a good season overall, just couldn't pick up that victory, but now he has that victory, so good for him to get himself locked into the playoffs now. As always, though, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. In the next one, we got some Truck Series action here at Michigan, I believe it said, and then also the Xfinity Series as well, and then, of course, the Cup Series race at Michigan, where we might have an announcement coming in the next episode about a potential new team maybe coming to the Cup Series. So keep your eyes out for that in the next episode. Now, as you see the playoff grid for the Cup Series right now, Cole Custer currently the last car in. Gregson's out by 21, Harvick by 22, Burton 43, Bubba Wallace 50, Bowman over 50 points out, 52 to be exact. And with all those DNFs he's had this season, he likely would be on the inside of the playoff grid. But very unfortunate for a driver like him as you see some of the upcoming races like Michigan, Sonoma, the Pocono doubleheader, where we'll have for the first race brand new rules package with equal engines. Going to be very exciting for that one. But before we end this episode, just want to say thank you to the Going Racing members, like I do every career mode episode now. Thank you to MJ, Aiden, Tony, Dylan, Joseph 9001, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Mr. Johnson 2, NASCAR on Dogs, Devin Roth, Eric Chouette, as well as Matthias Hansen. As I say, always you guys really do help out a lot, and I'm so appreciative of it now as well. Thank you to everybody that took their time out of their day to watch this episode and support me, and I will see you guys in the next one at Michigan. Have a great day, everybody.